Good evening, all. Extremely sorry for the delayed session. Had the previous meeting which just got over, and a delay. In continuation of our previous sessions on this SME, today we will bring the practical nuances towards filing an application for SME IPO listing, more with regard to NSE Emerge platform. And during the next session, we'll be happy to take you through the procedural aspects more with reference to the BSE listing. Today, we will deal with the SME IPO listing application, how the in principle approval papers have to be submitted, and how, after obtaining the in principle approval, your T plus 2, T plus 4 days, T plus 5 days when it comes to main board application. So, what are the formalities and what are the documentation requirements when it comes to IPO listing? My sincere thanks to my team members, Anupama and Aishwarya, for this detailed coverage. These are a couple of legends used in today's presentation. You could use it for your future reference. Today's agenda will be to discuss on the in principle approval, the documents to be submitted to NSE on T plus 2, T plus 3, T plus 4 days, T plus 5 when it is to be on the main board and the NEEPS platform. So we all are aware that NSE has come out with this NEEPS platform, which is like your MCA. You have the web-based platform where it is mandatory to upload all your soft copies. So NEEPS is the NSE Electronic Application Processing System. So LODR, we are all aware that all the filings, whatever we do, it has to be through the NEEPS mode. And likewise for your NSE Emerge platform, when it comes to SME, this application is also through the NEEPS platform. So we will see how the processing happens and how the payment should occur through this NEEPS platform. What are the documents for your in principle approval? Prior to listing or well before you go for this IPO for SME, you will seek the in principle approval from the relevant stock exchanges. So what are the documentation aspects which have to be taken care when it comes to NSE platform? Annual report for the last 3 years, or if the company is recently incorporated, then from the date of incorporation you may have to present it. Copy of the board and shareholders resolution authorizing the issue. The board resolution for the issue which is passed at the meeting under 179, and the shareholders resolution which you will pass under 62(1)(c) of the Companies Act when it comes to such issue, or when it is a preferential issue, or when it is going to be your IPO, the relevant provisions of the Companies Act. The MOA and AOA, the latest copies, and certificate from your auditor confirming the defaults with regard to the interest payment and or the principal payment when it comes to your bonds or debentures, or be it your deposit holders, with regard to your commitment adherence to your banks and financial institutions, both for the applicant as well as the promoter and promoting companies, including the group companies, over the past 3 years. The next set of document will be a declaration from the issuer. In principle approval for IPO of the company with regard to the number of shares which you are proposing to go for IPO with the face value indicated. And the declaration shall be submitted by the issuer company confirming that this company is incorporated under the Companies Act and the issuer satisfies the 3 years track record, and the post-issue capital shall not be more than 1 INR 25 crores. So this is one of the prerequisites as discussed in our previous sessions. If the amount is going to exceed that, then you will be falling under the main board platform. And the issuer has positive cash accruals. So we have seen in our previous sessions that the criteria for SME listing includes, amongst others, the positive cash accruals. So you have to also deal with the positive cash accruals on the basis of the restated financials from operation for a minimum period of 2 financial years. And the format is thus provided in your NSE platform. The PBT for the first year and the second year, add depreciation, deduct your other incomes, and the positive cash accruals, which is your earnings before depreciation and tax. For both the years, you may have to present, and the net worth of the company has to be provided, together with a confirmation that which will also be a CP, the condition precedent, under various provisions, which inter alia includes your SCRA, the Companies Act, SEBI Act, confirming the adherence to all the regulations. It also includes your applicant company, which also includes your promoter promoting company, confirming in their offer documents that they do not have any default in payment of listing fee to any stock exchanges. And very importantly, they should also confirm that they have not been declared under BIFR, your SICA provisions, and there is no criminal case which is filed against the directors for any of the criminal offences, and there are no restrictive clauses in the articles which is restricting them from going for such IPO, and before listing they may have to confirm that they are having this free flow mechanism for going for this IPO. And very importantly, they have to confirm, which is one of the prerequisite criteria for listing, that the 100% of the promoters holding shall be in dematerialized form. And there are no present or previous applications of the issuer company which have been rejected by the board or by the stock exchanges, and they do not have any relationship directly or indirectly with any of the companies promoter or PG, promoter group companies, which are compulsorily delisted for a period of 10 years in the past. And these stakeholders should also confirm they were not debarred from accessing the capital market, and they should also not be any fugitive offenders. So all these various affirmations have to be given by the issuer company, and the next set of confirmation should be provided by the merchant banker. The merchant banker again has to declare that the company is formed under the Companies Act, and the post issue capital, again like the issuer, he has to declare that it is not exceeding the ceiling limit, which is 25 crores, otherwise it moves to the next board, the main board, and the company is also satisfying the 3 years track record as prescribed under the NSE criterion for listing, and the positive cash accrual. So again the prerequisite criteria for SME listing, that NFE, cash accrual, is sufficiently maintained for the last 2 years, should also be substantiated with the facts and figures, and net worth and all other affirmations as given by the issuer. If you see, like they were not debarred, and the criminal offences against the promoter promoting company group companies were not there, and no disciplinary actions were taken against this company by the stock exchange or any other regulatory authority in the past 3 years. So all these declarations and affirmations as given by the issuer should also be seconded by the merchant banker. Over and above that, they should also confirm that the issuer company is well in compliant with the SEBI ICDR regulations. The next set of confirmation comes from the issuer together the promoting companies. So they have to confirm that they are not referred to the BIFR, the SICA provisions as mentioned earlier, and no petition for winding up is admitted by the court of competent jurisdiction before the tribunal for the purpose of liquidating the company, or no material regulatory disciplinary action, like how the merchant banker is confirming in the sixth set of document as mentioned in the previous slide. The issuer and the promoting company should also confirm that there are no such disciplinary actions which are taken by the stock exchange or any other regulatory authority, and the period is also the same for the past 3 years against the issuer company. And the eighth set of document is the shareholding details, where the details of the shareholding of the promoters in this promoting company as on 31st March for the last 3 years, and as on the date of the DRHP draft prospectus. So it is for both the periods, both for the 3 years and also till the date of this DRHP or the draft prospectus. The shareholding details have to be presented together with the confirmation that the control has not changed over the past 3 years. And the promoter company, you will have to provide the category whether they are under the P or PG. So whether they are the promoters or PG, the promoter group category you may have to state, and over and above that, the public category to see whether the minimum public shareholding criterion is met with. So here there will be a subcategory of shareholding together with the percentage and the number of shares which are pledged or otherwise encumbered. So similar to how you will be presenting in the SEBI LODR regulations. Likewise, you may have to distinctly state the shareholding, total shareholding as separate from the number of shares which are pledged or otherwise encumbered together with the percentile on both these shares. Then the merchant banker should also confirm about the closure time of the stock exchange bidding platform for entry of the bids, and bids which are not uploaded in the book would be rejected. And in case of discrepancy in the data which is entered in the electronic book against the data which is maintained in the hard copy form for a particular bidder, the details in the electronic book form may be taken as the final data against the physical copy as entered therein. And the standardization of the cutoff time for uploading the bids on the bid or issue closing date. A standard cutoff time is 3 p.m. for accepting the bids and 4 p.m. for uploading the bids received from non-retail applications. When it is non-retail, it refers to your qualified institutional buyers and high net worth investors. And a standard cutoff time of 5 p.m. for uploading bids received from only retail applicants. The previous one is non-retail, and 5 p.m. the cutoff time for retail applicants. The previous one is the first set of tranche which the company has to submit for obtaining the in-principle approval. Upon obtaining the in-principle approval from NSE Emerge platform, the documents which have to be submitted to NSE on the T+2 days are the proof of SEBI scores registration. So you may have to confirm, why do we have scores platform? To register all your investor compliance. So in the SEBI scores registration, you may have to confirm that the company has obtained its unique scores ID for tracking all the investor complaints to ensure that the company is going to redress the investor complaints on a timely and efficient manner, and material contracts for the issue. So whatever agreement is construed to be material, you may have to provide those documents to the NSE board and the material documents for the issue. So how material contracts are different from material documents are, all the significant arrangements or the agreements entered into will form part of document 2, whereas all the other material documents of the company will form part of document number 3. Other set of confirmations which the company has to provide on T+2 day. One, the issuer has to confirm that they have complied with and they meet all the eligibility criteria as issuer to the NSE board, and the dividend entitlement for the current year for all the existing shares shall run pari passu, which means they have equal entitlement as compared to the other shares, the existing shares of the company, and they are in compliance with Reg 46 of LODR regulations, and they also are in compliance with SEBI ICDR regulations. So SEBI ICDR, we have discussed the relevant chapter which deals with SME listing. So they have to confirm that they are in compliance with the chapter dealing with SME listing. Not only that, they should also confirm the regulation 46 of your LODR regulation with regard to the disclosure norms. Next set of confirmation is from the merchant banker. They have to confirm again, as confirmed by the issuer, they have to second that this issue is well in compliance with the eligibility criteria as specified by NSE board, and the devolvement notices have been sent to underwriters. During the previous sessions, we have understood as to what is the underwriters portion and how the devolvement notices have to be sent. So this confirmation should go from the merchant banker, and they should also confirm, like the issuer, that this set of issue is well in compliance with your SEBI ICDR norms. And the third tranche deals with the documents to be submitted on T+3 days. One will be the prospectus, two, the basis of allotment, how the allotment is made in term after this particular subscription is done, and details of allotment which are made to the non-retail investors being your qualified institutional buyers, and the recording of all the meetings of your registrars, your merchant bankers, and the issuer together with the reasons and the breakup of various applications that you have received and which are rejected due to the technical grounds, and those which are considered for allotment separately category wise for your retail and non-retail investor category. And there should be a confirmation from your RTA that there are no exception to the rejection cases which have been made except those which are mentioned in the proceedings. So it should be by way of a consensus amongst various intermediaries, including your registrar, RTA, lead manager, and the issuer, and there should not be any deviation from the consensus which is arrived at based on the meeting between all these intermediaries. And no QIB has bid and proposed to be allotted equity shares under non-QIB. So the category under which the basis of allotment is made should be in the appropriate mode, and all the final certificates issued by the branches have been verified by the registrar. So they need to give a confirmation that all these certificates have been verified and validated, and the validation of electronic bid details should be matched with the depository records to analyze whether the data validation has happened properly with regard to all the Benbow details. Your DPID, client ID, and other PAN should be in sync with the data which is captured by your registrar and transfer agent. The seventh set of document is the confirmation to be given by the merchant banker that there is no injunction or prohibitory order of a competent court of law on the issue or on any part of the particular category of the issue. So this confirmation should come from the merchant banker, confirming that there is no such injunction order passed by any competent authority. The final set of documents for this SME listing application will be on T+4 days, where the company, the issuing company, should be executing a listing agreement with the other party being your NSE on non-judicial stamp paper valuing 100 rupee, and the resolution which is passed for allotment of securities you may have to submit, the shareholding pattern, the pre-issue and post-issue after allotment. So how, as per the format which is given in your Reg 31, which deals with your shareholding pattern, should be submitted to your NSE, and the post-issue shareholding pattern in PDF without PAN should also be submitted, and advertisements which were published relating to IPO shall be enclosed on T+4 day, and certificate regarding your compliance with all the provisions of Reg 17 to 27 when it comes to your corporate governance. So all the provisions relating to your corporate governance, all the committee constitution, and all your disclosures forming part of your corporate governance report, everything should be confirmed as complied with. Thus, as mentioned in our previous sessions, your corporate governance norms and in your LODR regulation, your shareholding requirement, all are well in sync with your normal main board regulations, which are equally applicable to your SME portal as well. List of all allottees and lock-in confirmation from your depository. So the period of lock-in as imposed on the shares should be confirmed with a certificate obtained from your depository or your registrar and share transfer agent. The set of document, the ninth set, deals with the declaration from your PCA, PCS, or your statutory auditor. They have to confirm that the allotment is as per the basis of allotment which was approved by the stock exchange, and they should also provide the details of the securities, giving the lock-in and whether they are held in the physical or demat mode. The 10th set of document comes from the issuer, where they have to confirm that the advertisements published with regard to all the issues have been submitted to the exchange. So we saw on the T+4 day that all the documents, whatever advertisements are published, have to be submitted. So here they have to give a confirmation that all these publications have been submitted to the exchange, and again they have to confirm, like how during the in principle approval stage they confirm that everything is well in compliance with ICDR. They have to confirm that they are adhering to all these SEBI regulations, and the securities which are required to be logged in or logged in as mentioned in the offer document This is over and above the certificate obtained from your RTA or depository confirming the lock-in status, and that they are in compliance with the common agency requirement as specified by SEBI. We all are aware that the SEBI LODR regulation talks about your common agency requirement when it comes to your RTA. So this SME company should also confirm that they are adhering to the common agency requirement. The next set of confirmation comes from your lead banker. He has to again second the confirmation given by the issuer that the advertisements have been published and all these publications have been submitted to the exchange. And again, he has to reconfirm that the issue has been in compliance with ICDR regulations. The lock-in should also be reconfirmed. And the market maker setup details. We have already seen our previous sessions about the market maker. So the market maker setups have been provided in the ENIT by the market maker trading member should also be reconfirmed by the merchant bank. The T+5 days will apply when it comes to main board platform. So when there is this main board platform submission, that is when the threshold exceeds your 25 crores and when the migration happens, we have seen in our previous sessions that there is a possibility and the best advantage available to SME listing for moving from the SME listing board to the main board. So when they want to move from this particular board to the main board, by taking the necessary approvals, the special resolution through the postal ballot, they can certainly go to the main board, of course, after meeting the necessary criteria. The additional documents to be submitted are copy, which is obtained from the registrar and lead manager regarding the dispatch of the share certificates, letter of allotment, all the necessary documents, and confirmation from the depositories regarding the proper credit of the beneficiary accounts of the security holder. And finally, they should also provide the basis of allotment advertisement. So these documents have to be submitted when it comes to main board platform. And finally, the NEEPS platform, as mentioned, the electronic platform which is available under NSE mode, which is made mandatory for all the companies. So in principle approval, the processing fee of 25,000 together with the applicable GST has to be paid. And after submitting all your T+4 documents, the initial listing fee of 25,000 together with GST at 18% has to be paid, and annual listing fees as applicable should also be paid. And annual listing fees is depending on the slab as discussed in our previous sessions, but the same is also provided in our next slide. So the listing fee up to 5 crores is 10,000, and the slab of 5 to 10 it is 15,000, and 10 to 20 it is 25, and 20 to 25 it is 45,000. So all these payment to be processed with effect from 1st December 2018 in IDBI unique virtual account number as mentioned in your NSE Emerge platform based on the PAN number of the company, which will be credited within 1 day from registration on NEEPS by the company. So this is the mode which the company has to comply with. So this is with regard to your SME listing application, the in-principle approval papers, and the T+2, T+3, T+4 days documents which the company has to submit. More importantly, together with the confirmation from various intermediaries. And T+5 will be more applicable when it comes to main board platform. And all these are the set of applications which the SME company has to submit for IPO listing under NSE Emerge platform. During our next session, we will deal with the set of documents to be submitted to your BSE portal. Friends, any questions I'll be glad to take. Otherwise, we will close the session for today's webinar. Thank you very much, friends. Trust this was useful. Take care. Stay safe.